I never thought a single tear could shatter a family dinner. But there I was, 25 years old, choking on sobs at the oak table my grandfather carved by hand. "Benjamin, pull yourself together," my father barked, his fork clattering against the plate like a judge's gavel. The room erupted in laughter, harsh, mocking peals from my brothers and uncles that drowned out the country radio humming in the background, turning my heartbreak into their punchline. That night, in our cramped farmhouse kitchen in rural Ohio, I confessed it all. The love I'd hidden for years, the man who'd stolen my breath and rearranged my world. Samuel. His name hung in the air like smoke from the wood stove, acrid and unwelcome. My mother's forced smile cracked first, then the dam broke. Tears I couldn't stop, raw and ugly, spilling over the mashed potatoes and pot roast. They laughed because that's what the Millers did, toughen up or get left behind. But as the echoes faded, I realized something bone deep. I wasn't just crying for him. I was crying for the boy I'd buried under layers of plaid shirts and football cheers, the one who'd always known he was different. Ohio in the fall of 2018 felt like a pressure cooker, all amber fields and unspoken rules. Our town, Elmwood, was the kind of place where pickup trucks outnumbered Priuses 10-1, and Sunday sermons at First Baptist warned against the sins of the city. I'd grown up milking cows before dawn, racing dirt bikes through cornfields, and dodging questions about why I never chased girls at the county fair. My family was salt of the earth. Dad ran the feed store, Mom baked pies for church potlucks, and my 3 older brothers, Jake, Tyler, and Ethan, were carbon copies of him, broad-shouldered and beer-bellied, with wives and kids on the horizon. I was the outlier, the sensitive one, as they called it. Art classes in high school, books instead of hunting trips, and a secret sketchbook filled with drawings of hands intertwined, faces lit by fireflies. College at Ohio State was supposed to fix me, frat parties, engineering major, a girlfriend named Sarah to parade at holidays. But it didn't. Instead, I met Samuel in a dingy coffee shop off High Street, rain pounding the windows like it was trying to wash away my doubts. He was sketching too, his pencil flying over a pad, capturing the barista's laugh in quick, sure lines. Tall, with messy auburn hair that curled at the nape of his neck, and eyes like the Ohio River after a storm, deep brown, swirling with secrets. "You're blocking my light," he said, not looking up, but there was a grin tugging at his lips. I mumbled an apology, heat flooding my cheeks, and that's when he glanced over. Our eyes locked, and the world narrowed to the steam rising from my latte and the way his voice wrapped around my name. "Benjamin. Suits you." Like an old novel. We talked for hours that afternoon, rain turning to mist outside. He was from Cincinnati, studying architecture, with a laugh that bubbled like creek water over stones. By the time we parted, he'd slipped his number into my sketchbook, for when you need inspiration. I stared at it all night, heart hammering, knowing this was the line I'd been towing my whole life. Our first real date was at a dive bar in German Village, the kind with neon signs flickering over peanut shells on the floor. Samuel showed up in a faded flannel that smelled like pine and pencil shavings, carrying 2 tickets to an indie folk concert. "Thought you might like something raw," he said, his hand brushing mine as he passed the ticket. The music was electric guitar and heartache lyrics, bodies swaying in the dim light. Halfway through, he pulled me close during a slow song, his breath warm against my ear. "Dance with me, Ben." No one noticed us in the crowd, but it felt like the whole world did. His hand on my waist was tentative at first, then sure, like he'd been waiting lifetimes for this. That night, under the stars walking back to my dorm, he kissed me. Soft, searching, tasting of cheap beer and possibility. I froze for a split second, years of fear crashing in, then melted into it, my fingers tangling in his hair. When we broke apart, gasping, he whispered, "I've got you." And God, I wanted to believe him. But secrets have a way of festering, like weeds in cracked pavement. I kept Samuel hidden from Elmwood, sneaking weekends in Columbus, lying to my family about study groups. They'd ask about Sarah, the girl I'd ghosted after that first coffee with him, and I'd mumble excuses, stomach twisting. Samuel understood, or so he said. "Your world's yours to navigate, Ben. I'm just glad to be in it." We'd drive out to Hocking Hills, hike trails lined with ancient oaks, and talk about everything. His dreams of designing sustainable homes for queer youth, my buried wish to illustrate children's books about boys who loved boys without shame. Fall turned to winter, snow blanketing the fields like a shroud. Christmas loomed, and the pressure built. "Bring Sarah home," Mom said over the phone, her voice laced with that hopeful lilt. I panicked, invited Samuel instead, telling him it was casual, no big reveal. He agreed, eyes twinkling. "I'll charm the overalls off him." The drive back to Elmwood was silent torture, his hand on my knee the only anchor. We pulled up to the farmhouse as flurries danced in the headlights, the porch light a beacon of judgment. Dinner was a minefield, brothers ribbing about football, Dad grilling Samuel on his city boy job prospects. Samuel handled it with grace, cracking jokes about Buckeye games and offering to fix the leaky barn roof. But when the pie was served, I cracked. It started with a question from Tyler. "So, Ben, when's the wedding bells with Sarah?" Laughter rippled. I glanced at Samuel, his fork pausing midair. The words tumbled out before I could stop them. "There is no Sarah. There never was. Samuel's. He's my boyfriend." The room went still, then exploded. Dad's face reddened like overripe tomatoes. "What the hell is this, Benjamin? Some kind of joke?" Mom's hand flew to her mouth, eyes wide. Jake snorted, "Figures. Always knew you were soft." Ethan joined in, a guffaw that shook the table. And then the tears came, hot, uncontrollable, because it wasn't just the rejection, it was the unraveling of every lie I'd stitched together to belong. They laughed, full-throated, belly laughs that echoed off the rafters, as if my heartbreaking was the best comedy since the Harvest Festival. Samuel sat frozen, his chair scraping back as he stood. "This isn't funny," he said quietly, but no one heard over the din. I fled to the mudroom, sobs racking me, the cold tile biting through my jeans. Samuel followed, pulling me into his arms amid the coats and boots. "Ben, we can go. Right now." But pride, or stupidity, kept me rooted. "They'll come around," I whispered, more to myself than him. He held me tighter, but I felt the fracture forming, a hairline crack in us. That Christmas was a blur of slammed doors and silent treatments. Samuel left the next morning, kissing my forehead in the driveway, snow crunching under his tires as he drove away. "Call me when you're ready to fight for this." I nodded, but the house felt emptier, the laughter's echo a ghost. Back in Columbus for spring semester, I threw myself into classes, but Samuel's texts grew sporadic. "Miss you in this cold," he'd write, followed by photos of half-finished blueprints. Mine were frantic. "Sorry about my family. Love you." He replied less, excuses about deadlines. I chalked it up to distance, but doubt gnawed like termites. One April evening, rain lashing the windows, he invited me to his apartment for dinner. "Need to talk," the text read. My stomach dropped. The place smelled of garlic and regret, candles flickering on the coffee table. We ate in silence, pasta congealing on plates. Finally, he set down his fork. "Ben, I applied for that fellowship in Seattle. It's my dream, designing eco-homes for at-risk LGBTQ kids. They accepted me." Seattle, 3,000 miles away. "When?" I whispered. "Next month." The room spun. "You didn't tell me you applied." Accusation laced my words. "Didn't think I'd get it." Lie. His eyes darted to the floor. "And us? What about us?" He reached for my hand, but I pulled back. "I love you, Ben, but this is my shot. You could come, transfer schools, start fresh. Fresh. Away from Elmwood's chokehold, from the family that laughed at my tears. But it meant abandoning everything. My degree halfway done, the fragile threads to home. I can't just upend my life, then stay. But I have to go." His voice cracked, mirroring mine. We made love that night, not frantic, but tender, like sealing a pact we both knew we'd break. Mornings after, he packed, and I watched boxes stack like walls between us. The day he left, at the airport curb, rain mirroring my tears, he hugged me fierce. Write me. Every day. The plane took off, and a piece of me went with it. Summer dragged, Ohio humidity thick as grief. I drove home for July 4th, fireworks bursting like false promises over the fairgrounds. Family dinner was tense civility, No mentions of Samuel, just pointed questions about that phase. I endured, sketching in secret. Samuel's profile against rainy windows, our hands laced in sunlight. But whispers reached me. Jake cornered me by the grill. Heard your boys skipping town. Good riddance, city fags don't last. I shoved him, fist connecting with jaw before I registered the pain. Dad pulled us apart, bellowing. Enough of this nonsense. But the seed was planted. Betrayal, not just from family, but the fear Samuel might see me as the weak link. August brought a bombshell email from Samuel. Met someone here. Helping with the project. Don't hate me. Attached, a photo. Him laughing with a colleague, arms slung casual. My world tilted. Was this the real reason for Seattle? A convenient escape? I didn't reply, rage and hurt curdling into silence. Fall semester started, leaves turning trader gold. I buried myself in work, interning at a Columbus firm, dreaming of stability. One night, scrolling Zillow in a haze, an ad caught my eye. A fixer-upper bungalow in a quiet suburb, porches wrapping like open arms. $150,000, steep for my savings, but loans beckoned. A home for myself. I murmured, the words tasting like rebellion. The realtor, a no-nonsense woman named Carla, showed me around. Needs love, but imagine, your space, no judgments. I signed papers that week, heart pounding like a drum solo. Closing day, keys in hand. I stood on the stoop, sun warming the chipped paint. Mine, not Elmwood's shadow, not Samuel's ghost. Word spread fast. Mom called, voice tight. A house? Alone? Ben, that's unconventional. Dad grunted disapproval over speakerphone. Brothers texted memes of bachelors freezing in empty pads. Laughter again, digital this time, but it stung less. I'd built something solid. Renovations became therapy, sanding floors to reveal heartwood grain, painting walls sky blue. Neighbors waved. Diverse folks, some with pride flags fluttering. One, an older gay couple, brought pie. Welcome to the neighborhood, kid. You're home. Thanksgiving loomed, and with it, the annual Miller feast. I debated skipping, but pride won. Drove up with a bottle of wine, not the cheap stuff, and my resolve. The table was set, faces familiar and strained. As grace ended, I raised my glass. To new beginnings. And to family, blood or chosen. Polite clinks, then Dad cleared his throat. Heard about the house. Foolish, throwing money at walls. Laughter bubbled from Jake, but I cut it off. Foolish. Like laughing at your son when he bares his soul. Silence crashed. Tears pricked, but I held them. That night, you all chose mockery over me. Samuel left because he saw I had nothing to offer. No strength, no home of my own. But I built one. For me. And maybe, one day, for someone who deserves it. Mom's eyes welled. We didn't mean. But Dad interrupted, voice gruff. Pride's a sin, boy. Bible says. Love isn't, I shot back. Samuel taught me that. And if you can't see it, that's on you. The meal dragged, tension thick as gravy. I left early, drive back to my bungalow a blur of headlights and what-ifs. Unpacked boxes waited, but so did possibility. Winter thawed to spring 2020, pandemic shadows lengthening. My firm went remote. I holed up, Zoom calls from the kitchen island. I'd refinished myself. Samuel's emails trickled, apologies, updates on his Seattle life. Miss your sketches. Saw a house today that screamed Ben, porch swing and all. I replied once, built mine. It's good. No more. Then, May a knock shattered the quiet. I opened the door to him. Samuel, duffel at feet, rain-soaked and sheepish. Fellowship ended early. Budget cuts. But truth? I couldn't stay away. My heart clenched. That someone? Colleague. A kiss at a bar, regretted instantly. You're the one, Ben. Always. Rage flared. You broke me. Left me to their laughter, then ghosted with half-truths. He stepped closer, eyes pleading. I was scared. Your family. It mirrored mine. Dad disowned me at 17. Thought distance would protect us both. The revelation hit like thunder, his easy charm a mask for old wounds. We talked till dawn on the porch swing. I'd hung myself. Confessions spilling like the storm outside. His hand found mine, tentative. Can we try? Here in your home. I hesitated, ghosts of betrayal whispering. But his gaze, raw, hopeful, mirrored the boy I'd fallen for. One condition, no more secrets. Deal. Dawn broke, painting the yard gold. Summer bloomed tentative. We fixed the garden together, hands dirt-streaked, laughter real this time. Samuel sketched plans for expansions, a studio for my art, guest room for. Someday, family calls grew warmer. Mom sent curtains, for your place. Dad grumbled, but asked about the roof. July 4th, we hosted a barbecue. Neighbors, Samuel's easy grin drawing them in. Fireworks popped overhead, but the real spark was his whisper during the finale. This is home, Ben. You turn the tables. Not fully. Elmwood simmered, brothers distant. But in my bungalow, walls we'd painted together, I found peace. Love wasn't a battlefield anymore. It was the swing creaking under us at sunset, his head on my shoulder, future unfolding like the river we'd once dreamed by. Yet shadows lingered. August brought a letter from Dad. Come home. Talk. Closure? Or trap? Samuel squeezed my hand. Your call. I'm here. I drove alone, heart heavy. The farmhouse loomed, porch light flickering. Inside, they waited, not laughing, but lined up like soldiers. Dad first. Saw your house on Zillow. Looks sturdy, gruff, but eyes soft. Mom hugged fierce. We were wrong, Ben. About everything. Jake mumbled, sorry man. Was an ass. Ethan nodded, kids peeking curious. No miracles, but cracks in the armor. We talked, real talk, tears without mockery. Samuel, Dad asked finally. Part of me now. Like this family could be, if you try. He nodded slow. We'll see. Driving back, windows down, wind whipping freedom, I called Samuel. They're trying. His laugh warmed the line. Like us. Fall painted the world anew. Samuel got a local gig, designing community centers. I sold my first illustration, a boy on a swing with his love, fireflies dancing. The bungalow filled, bookshelves groaning, canvases leaning, his blueprints pinned to fridge. One crisp October evening, sunset gilding the yard, we sat on that swing. His arm around me, coffee steaming shared. Remember Elmwood? He murmured. How could I forget? Laughter to this. You did that, Ben. Bought your home, turned the tables. I leaned in, lips brushing his temple. Our home. As stars pricked the sky, I knew, wounds scar, but they heal. Family men slow, love fierce. In America's heartland, amid corn whispers and city dreams, I'd carved space for us. No more hiding. Just us, swinging into tomorrow. The swing's rhythm lulled us that night, but sleep evaded, ghosts of old fights circling like moths to the porch bulb. Samuel shifted, his voice a low rumble against my neck. What if they never fully get it? Your dad, the brothers, Ohio runs deep in their veins. I traced the freckles on his forearm, map of constellations I'd memorized. They don't have to. This, I gestured to the yard, fireflies winking like conspirators. This is enough. But doubt flickered, unbidden. The letter from Dad had been progress, a olive branch wrapped in butcher paper, but trust? That was rebar and concrete, slow to set. Morning brought routine. Coffee black for him, splash of milk for me, sketches traded over toast. Samuel's latest was an elevation drawing of our bungalow expanded, a sunroom off the kitchen, glass walls flooding light. For your art, he said, tapping the page. Days when winter bites too hard. My response was a quick line. Him at dawn, profile sharp against window, mug in hand. For the man who sees me. Work pulled us apart. Me to virtual meetings, pixels of approval from editors. Him to site visits, hard hat perched Johnny. Evenings converged in the kitchen, meals improvised, chili from canned tomatoes, arguments over spice levels dissolving into kisses. Too hot. I'd gasp, and he'd grin, like you. But normalcy was fragile glass. Mid-November, a call from Tyler shattered it. Dad's sick. Heart thing. Docs say stress. Pause, awkward. Could use you here. Samuel overheard, brow furrowing as I hung up. Go. I'll hold the fort. Elmwood in late fall was desolation chic. Fields stripped bare, wind howling laments through silos. The farmhouse smelled of liniment and worry, Mom's eyes hollowed by nights at the hospital. Dad lay propped in the recliner, oxygen hissing soft, face ashen as overworked soil. Ben, he rasped, hand extending. I took it, callous as rough as memory. Didn't think you'd come. Family, I said simply. We sat, TV droning infomercials, words sparse, but weighted. That boy, Samuel. He good to you? The best. Pride swelled, unbidden. Dad nodded, eyes distant. Regret that night. Laughed cause. Scared. Of losing you to something I didn't understand. Tears pricked his mind. You almost did. The week blurred. Hospital vigils, brothers thawed by crisis. Jake shared a beer on the porch, admitting, teased you cause I envied it. Your fire, drawing stuff. I just follow the herd. Ethan brought his son, little Timmy with my eyes, toddling over. Uncle Ben, draw me a dragon? I did, right there on butcher paper, scales shimmering in crayon. Samuel texted lifelines. Miss your chaos. Send pics of dragons. I snapped Timmy's grin, captioned, converting the natives. Dad stabilized, discharged with pills and promises. Homecoming dinner was potluck subdued, no roasts, just soup and stories. When I mentioned the bungalow, Dad surprised. Take me to see it sometime. Before snow flies. Progress. Driving back, radio crooning Springsteen, boss of broken hearts. I felt the thaw. December dusted the world white. Holidays a minefield of traditions. We hosted Mom and the brothers. Bungalow aglow with string lights, Samuel hung crooked charming. Table groaned under turkey and fixings, laughter tentative but genuine. Timmy perched on my lap, finger-painting napkins. Jake grilled Samuel on football, truce forged over touchdowns. Dad arrived last, bundled, eyes scanning walls. Sturdy, he grunted, echoing the letter. Settled by the fire, he pulled me aside. Proud, son. Of this. Of you. Words hung, unspoken, and of him. Samuel caught my eye across the room, winked conspiratorial. That night, snow falling soft, we bundled on the swing, breaths clouding. Your family's. Human, he murmured. Like mine. Kiss sealed it, slow and sure. But 2021 dawned treacherous. Samuel's firm landed a big contract, renovating a queer youth center in Dayton. 2 hours away, he said, packing lunches. Day trips max. But commutes stretched, evenings late with blueprints and calls. I filled time with commissions, illustrations for a local mag, stories of boys finding home in unlikely arms. Jealousy crept insidious, whispers of that Seattle photo resurfacing. Who was this project? Late nights, phone glowing with texts from the team. One February evening, dinner cold, I confronted. Who's Elena? Keeps texting hearts. His face fell. Architect partner. Married, Ben. Just work. Like Seattle? Sting landed. He paced, hands raking hair. That was a mistake. This. Trust me. I do. But distance. It echoes. We argued rare. Voices rising over dishes clatter. Ending in apologies tangled on the couch. We're solid, he insisted, forehead to mine. Bungalow proof. Spring green tentative, but cracks widened. A weekend conference pulled him to Chicago, networking. I waved goodbye, gut twisting. Alone, I wandered rooms, touching his mug, his jacket, sense of pine and possibility. Phone buzzed. Tyler. Dad wants you for Easter. Bring Samuel. Invitation laced with hope. I texted him. Family thing. You in? Reply delayed. Chicago running long. Rain check. Doubt bloomed full. Easter Sunday. I drove solo, basket of mom's dye eggs as peace offering. Table set festive, but Dad's eyes searched behind me. Where's the boy? Work? I lied, throat tight. Conversation flowed around me. Farm yields, grandkids' antics, but undercurrent pulled. Jake's side eye. Ethan's pity. After pie, Dad cornered me in the barn. Hay scent sharp. Something wrong? Truth spilled. He's slipping away. Like before. Dad clapped my shoulder, grip firm. Fight for it. Like you did this house. Bought it when we laughed, showed us. Echoed the title of my life. Tables turned. I nodded, resolve hardening. Back home, Samuel waited, duffel unpacked. Missed you. Embrace warm, but I pulled back. Chicago, truth? He sighed, sinking to the couch. Elena. More than work. Late drinks, talks deep. Nothing happened, but feelings stirred. Scared me. You're my anchor, Ben. Betrayal fresh, raw. You promised no secrets. I know. Tears tracked his cheeks. Fellowship ghosted me, made me question if I deserve this. You, the home, the life. Heart fractured, but love stubborn. We fix it. Together. Or not at all. Therapy followed. Virtual sessions with a counselor specializing in queer couples, voices soft over screens. We unpacked. His abandonment scars, my family wounds. Dates intentional. Picnics in the yard, sketches swapped like love letters. Bungalow became sanctuary, walls whispering forgiveness. Summer swelled, heat wave haze. Dad's visit materialized. Pickup rumbling up, him in the passenger seat, mom driving. Tour given proud. Kitchen island we'd carved initials under, studio blooming with my art. Fine work, he said, nodding at Samuel's plans. Over lemonade, talk turned real. Sorry again, for that dinner. Laughed cause didn't know how to love you right. Samuel bridged. We all learn late sometimes. Handshake sealed, tentative alliance. Fireworks July 4th lit the sky from our roof. Family photos snapped. Brothers included, beers raised. Laughter now inclusive, toasting to Ben's empire. Yet climax brewed unseen. August storm hit literal and figurative. Samuel's phone buzzed urgent during dinner. Emergency site, roof collapse. He bolted, me trailing to the truck. Rain lashed as we drove, wipers frantic. Dayton Center loomed dark, lights flashing emergency. Inside, chaos. Beams down, dust choking. Elena's trapped, he gasped, shoving debris. Firefighters barked orders. I held flashlights, heart hammering. Hours blurred, pulling, prying, till she emerged, bruised but breathing. Hug from Samuel relief wrought, but my chest tightened at their clasp. Thank you, she whispered to him, eyes lingering. Drive home silent, storm raging. At the bungalow, I exploded. That look, it's not nothing. D-World. She's hurt, Ben. Collie. More? I saw Chicago in your eyes. Fury peaked, words weapons, his accusations of clinging to family ghosts, mine of fleeing to projects. Door slammed. He stormed to the studio, me to the porch, rain soaking through. Dawn gray, coffee cold. He found me there, eyes red-rimmed. Can't lose you. Elena's past, told her tonight. Project's mine solo now. Vulnerability cracked me. Swore no secrets. But I hid too. Fear you'd leave again. Embrace dissolved barriers, tears mingling. Rebuild, he murmured. Always. Fall 2021 gilded wounds. We attended Pride in Columbus, rainbows bold against gray skies. Dad sent a card. Proud of your fight. Brothers visited, Timmy's dragon collection growing. One November Eve, sunset's romantic hush, porch swing swaying, his head on my shoulder, coffee shared. We vowed quiet. This home, I said, turned everything. His kiss answered, world writing. Winter 2021 wrapped us in hush, snow blanketing the bungalow like absolution. Samuel's solo project thrived. Youth center rising resilient, beams symbolizing our mended frame. Mornings, he'd sketch over oatmeal, ideas flowing. Modular walls for therapy rooms. Flexible like us. I'd counter with illustrations. Kids finding corners of safety, colors vivid against white fields. But peace was prelude to storm. Valentine's loomed, and with it, a gesture from Elmwood. Dad's invite to a family retreat at the lake cabin, neutral ground. Bring Samuel. Water under the bridge. Hope warred with wariness. Samuel's nod steady. Let's go. Show him the team. Cabin perched on Buckeye Lake. Pines whispering secrets to waves. Arrival tense. Brothers' trucks mud splattered. Wives corralling kids. Hugs awkward, but mom's cocoa warmed. Evenings by the fire pit. More's sticky sweet. Talk skirted edges. Crops. Comics. Till Dad poked. That's Center Samuel's building. Heard it's for folks like you. Pride swelled. Queer youth. Giving him homes that don't judge. Silence. Then Jake. Noble. Wish we'd done better. Apology hung. Group not solemn. Fishing dawn. Just Dad and me. Boat rocking gentle. Rod's idle. He cleared throat. Pastor says change is possible. Read a book about acceptance. Voice gruff, but eyes earnest. Want that for us. Tears stung. Lake mirroring. Me too, Dad. Retreat ended bridges built. Tentative spans over chasms. Back home, Samuel and I celebrated. Candlelit dinner, his toast, to families evolving. Dance in the kitchen, slow sway to radio croon, his hand low on my back, world condensed to us. Spring 2022 bloomed audacious. My illustrations caught eye. A publisher in New York, contract for a children's book, Swing Home. Boys finding love in ordinary magic. Samuel designed the cover mock-up, Swing Central, Fireflies Allies. Launch party small, neighbors, family zooming in. Dad's face pixelated proud. Buy 10 copies. Laughter real, inclusive. But conflict brewed insidious. Samuel's success drew offers. Philly firm, big bucks for green builds. Visit only, he assured over dinner, fork twirling pasta. Bungalow's route. Doubt echoed Seattle. Promise. Eyes locked. Swear. Yet offers piled, trips lengthening. June. He jetted to interviews. Text sporadic. Philly's vibe intense. Thinking of you. Attached, skyline pics. Know us. Home echoed empty. I paced, sketches frantic. Empty swings, shadows long. Tyler called. Dad's pushing for a big family reunion. Fourth. Your place. Hesitation. Samuel's away. Come anyway. Show the home. Reunion prep distraction. Banners strung. Grill fired. Brothers arrived en masse. Kids tornadoing yard. Dad clapped my back. Place looks lived in. Good. Laughter flowed. Beers cracked. No mockery. Just stories swapped. Timmy tugged. Uncle's swing ride? We soared. His giggles therapy. Samuel's text buzzed mid-barbecue. Philly offer. Lead architect. Huge. Heart sank. Call later. What about us? Remote possible. We adapt. Like Seattle? Hurt flared. Don't throw that. Guilt twisted his voice. Won't. Home's here. But July sweltered suspicion. A package arrived. Philly welcome kit. Hidden in his drawer. Confrontation kitchen lit. Decided without me? Exploring options. For us, better school's eventual stability. Or escape. Argument escalated. Voices echoing off fresh paint. You cling to Elmwood ghosts, he accused. I push forward. And you flee when hard. Door slam. Guest room claimed. Dawn reconciliation fragile. Coffee truce. Words careful. Therapy again? I suggested. Not. Team effort. Sessions dug deep. His fear of stagnation mirroring Dad's old rigidity. My anchor too tight. Progress slow, but bonds reinforced. August heat broke with storm. Literal lash. Power out. Candles flickered. Us huddled on couch. Board games by glow. Remember first rain? He murmured, hand finding mine. Coffee shop. Light blocked. Laughter soft. Best obstruction. Intimacy rebuilt. Not rushed, but rediscovered. Walks at dusk. Hands laced unashamed. Fall harvest brought harvest of growth. Book released to quiet acclaim. Reviews praising tender humanity. Signing in Columbus, Samuel beside, pride beaming. Elmwood reunion redux. Full family, wives included. Bungalow brimmed, tables groaning, kids romping. Dad cornered Samuel by grill. Heard about Philly. Hope you stay. Subtle plea. Samuel's grin. Roots deep here, sir. Heart swelled. Yet high tide crested October. Samuel's firm mandated. Philly or bust. Ultimatum veiled in bonuses. Dinner grave. They want me there full time. World tilted. We discuss relocation. Your book, portable. Family. Visits. Rage. Grief collided. This home. I bought it to escape their laugh. Build ours. Not abandon. Tears his. For future. Kids maybe. Adoption dreams. Dreams shared, but timing cruel. Can't uproot now. Stalemate. He packed a bag. Need air. Think. Door closed soft, but echo boomed. Alone, I wandered rooms. Studio empty of his blueprints. Kitchen cold sans his chaos. Called Dad. Voice cracking. Samuel's leaving. For good. Pause heavy. Fight like you did for this place. Bought it defiant. Turn that table again. Wisdom raw. Sleepless, I sketched. Us on swing. Philly skyline fading. Bungalow eternal. Morning, drove to his hotel. Columbus Edge, anonymous. Knocked, heart thunder. He opened weary. Ben. Stay? Where I go with. But decide us, not solo. Eyes widened. Go? Your roots. Portable too. Loves the anchor. Tears mutual. Called Philly. Declined. Here's home. Embrace fierce. Rain starting outside. Back at bungalow. Storm raging. We vowed. No more flights. November Thanksgiving hours. Family full. Tables linked yard to porch. Toasts to resilience. Dads. To Ben, who taught us laughs not always kind. And to Samuel, who stayed. Emotion choked. Swing later, stars sharp. His whisper turned every table. Kiss sealed, future bright. Winter 2022 settled benevolent. Snow a soft editor to our story. Samuel's firm relented. Hybrid role, Dayton base. Mornings merged anew. His coffee ritual, my sketch warm-up. Banter flowing like the Scioto after thaw. Book tour mini. Ohio stops. Crowds intimate. Q&A heartfelt. Homes where you build it. Brick by tier. Samuel in front row. Eyes shining. Christmas Elmwood bound. Full convoy. Our truck tailing dads. Farmhouse aglow. Tree lopsided traditional. Gifts practical. Tools from brothers. Quilt from mom. But dad's wrapped careful. Old sketchbook. My childhood scribbles. Found in attic. Knew then you were artist. Tears unspoken. Samuel's gift. Custom blueprint. Bungalow eternalized. Our legacy. New Year's Eve. Porch swing under midnight fireworks. Neighbors bursts sinking heartbeats. Resolutions, he asked, arm warm. More us. Less doubt. Kiss chime countdown. Spring 2023 greened ambitious. Youth center ribbon cut. Samuel's vision realized. Walls welcoming. Dedication speech. For the boys who cried and were laughed at. This space turns tables. Me beside, hand squeeze hidden but felt. My sequel brood, Rivers Home, loves navigating currents. Publisher eager, advance funding sunroom. Glass haven Samuel dreamed. Family wove tighter. Weekly calls, brothers visits with barbecues. Jake confessed over beers. Envy your guts, Ben. Coming out, buying that house, hero shit. Flawed hero, I laughed. But thanks. Ethan's turn. Timmy asks for Uncle Samuel stories. Make him one. Book 3 seed planted. Yet drama's embers glowed. Summer solstice, letter from Seattle ghost. Elena, post-divorce. Miss our talks. Visit. Samuel showed me instant. Trust rebuilt. Archive it. Nod. Us first. But temptations whisper tested. Philly firm circled back. Irresistible project. Dinner debate. One meeting. Scout. Gut clenched. Echoes. I know. Declined email sent joint. Our signatures digital pact. Heat wave July. Power flicker. Storm brewed bigger. Dad's checkup dire. Heart strain worsening. Hospital vigil. Family huddled. If I go, he rasped private. Know I love you. All of you. Tears flowed free. Stay? Teach us more. Stabilized again, but lesson etched. Time finite. Love urgent. August. Crisis pivot. Samuel's firm downsized. Layoff shadow. What now? Panic edged his voice. Pacing studio. Opportunity disguised. Partner? Your designs, my illustrations. Queer spaces firm. Eyes lit. Ben and Sam builds. Home for others. Business plans sketched feverish. Grants for LGBTQ housing. Boutique renovations. Pitched to investors. Columbus Queer Chamber. Landed seed funding. To the tables turned. We toasted. Ink drying on LLC. Fall harvest bountiful. First client. Youth shelter retrofit. Sites sweaty, satisfying. Hammers echoing our rebuilds. Thanksgiving 2023, bungalow overflowed. Family, neighbors, center kids peeking shy. Tables spanned yard, laughter symphony. No undercurrents, just harmony. Dad raised glass, voice steady. To Benjamin, who cried and conquered. And Samuel, who held the line. Applause thundered. Swing post feast, stars canopy, his head on shoulder. Romantic most? This. Every night. Kiss affirmed, coffee cooling forgotten. Winter whispered, endings soft. Sequel launched, bestseller modest. Reviews, Heartland Heart, Universal Heal. Tour national tease, but roots held. Spring 2024, adoption papers filed tentative. Foster to adopt boy. 10, eyes like Timmy's curious. Home study passed, bungalow inspected loving. Summer solstice, court day. Welcome, Alex. Swing introduction, his small hand in ours. Fall, family swelled. Elmwood picnic, Alex dragon hunting with cousins. Dad, Frylier, wheeled but grinning. Full circle, son. Yes, from laughter shatter to this mosaic. One October sunset, most romantic, gold-drenched yard, Alex sketching beside, Samuel's arm, round me. We sat swing eternal. Turned every table, he murmured. Not done turning. Future unfolded, human, hopeful, love's quiet revolution in America's weave. Epilogue whisper, years blur, Alex grows artist, firm thrives shelters. Dad passes gentle, legacy acceptance. Brothers uncles proud. Bungalow stands, porches open. And us? Swinging still, hearts synced, home unbreakable.